Yo, what is going on, everybody? Articulated Ninja here, and I think I'm one of the first on YouTube to get this figure out there, and I wanted to get it out there because I ran into a problem with the original. This is the Mcfarlane gold label Hawks, right? I picked up the original and I ran into an issue with it that really got under my skin. We'll get into that, but this is the gold label version. This version, the wings are different and the accessories are different, but it's still $19.99. I believe it's up on Amazon right now, so the link for it will be in the description below. If there is any left, go pick it up, because I think this gold label version is better than the standard release, though Mcfarlane forces you to kinda have to get both of them, which is annoying anyway. But comment down below during the video and let's talk My Hero Academia Hawks. And right out of the package, on the left of the screen we have the standard release. On the right of the screen we have this gold label release. Oh man, and you know, Hawks, he doesn't punch people in the show, right? He uses his feathers as swords because he can sharpen them. The point is, he uses his wings to fly and he uses his feathers as weapons. It's a package deal. They're not separate at all. Almost anytime you see him flying, he's on the offensive, he's using his weapons. They both work in tandem with each other. So if you get the standard release, you get the wings, right? But you get no weapons. None of his trademark weapons. Same exact figure. And then if you get the gold version, you basically get no wings, but you get the feathers, you get the weapons. So if I absolutely had to choose one to get, I am going to get the gold label version. Same exact price, $19.99. You get really small wings, but at least you get the feathers. This way you get to choose whether or not you want them in a relaxed walking around wings down type of mode, or you want them to actually have a combat type of mode. At least you get a choice with the gold label version, where if you get the standard release, he has no weapons and his wings are just permanently down anyway, like he's just casually walking around, which is fine. Let's just say the standard version is the casual release. Let's say the gold label version is him in battle mode, right? Let's justify it like that. They still messed up because on the standard version, they did some really crazy false advertising, and the box to the standard release shows him have at least one weapon, one feather, one of his swords. At least one, but the standard release comes with none, absolutely none. And I thought it was just me, so I got on YouTube, checked some other people's reviews, and nobody had this feather, which made a lot of people assume, okay, there's gonna be a gold label version with the actual feather swords. There's gonna be one. The problem is, why did you advertise it to have an accessory that is crucial to the character? You advertise it with that accessory and then don't even include it. And I'm sure it comes back down to money. Hey, if we give them the feather swords with this one, they're not going to want to buy the other one just for the smaller wings. Okay, cool, but then just don't advertise that it comes with shit that it actually doesn't come with. That's it. But let's talk about if I like or dislike the gold label version, because if I had to pick one, I would pick the gold label version. Even though the wings are smaller, it's okay. He comes with the swords and he comes with wings still. So I would definitely go with the gold label figure over the standard release. And I guess one of the biggest reasons is because there's like a lot of poses that you can do with this. Mcfarlane has slowly been updating his game when it comes to articulation, when it comes to sculpting. The sculpting was kind of always there, but this figure can get into a lot of Hawks type of poses, and I like it a lot. So even though I do think it is a greedy ass tactic to sell the same figure with two different accessories compared to other My Hero Academia figures, especially the ones in the beginning like Deku, and this blows all of that out the water. This might be the best one that he's done so far as articulation and sculpting is concerned. This is one of my favorite shots from the manga, and this figure can pull that shot off, which I like a lot. Also, more of a less dynamic pose. This is another one of my favorite shots of Hawks in anime, and this figure can pull off even a relaxed pose because of how good the detail is on this figure. So not only do I feel like Mcfarlane dropped the ball with false advertising on the standard release of this figure, I also feel like he dropped the ball because he included flight stands with some of the most basic characters that don't even fly as much as Hawks. But for some strange reason, on both of the releases to this figure, there's no flight stand. Bruh. Like, this man is literally a bird. Like, he gets into no action without literally having to fly. Why would he not include a flight stand with him? I have no idea. It's beyond me. Whatever. But that is a downside. To me, that's the second downside. on top of the accessories, there's no flight stand. So I just grabbed another flight stand. Chances are if you're watching this video, you have other flight stands. So I just grabbed another flight stand and added it with this figure. So with the flight stand, this guy can get into some amazing ass poses. I just wish the flight stand would have been included. Now I'm sure some of you guys may have noticed those two little rough ass looking holes that are in the back of my figure. I know some of you guys is like, yo, nah, I did that. I dremeled in two little holes to add my wings to the figure, being that we didn't get any real open wings with this figure. But that's what that is. If you get it, it won't have those ugly, rough looking holes in it. I did that to mine. And the funny thing about it is I didn't even have to do that because the pegs on these wings literally fit right into the Mcfarlane pegs for the wings that he does provide with the figure. So I didn't even have to make those holes. I made them for no reason, or I plugged them in if I want them to be extremely tighter because I made the holes really small. So I can still use them. I guess I plugged them in for a tighter fit, but the ones that come on the Mcfarlane figure is good enough. The pegs that I just pegged these wings right in. These wings are from an old DC Collectibles. I believe it was the Arrow TV series Hawk Girl. That's where these wings came from. And yeah, we shouldn't have to do this, to be honest. We should have been given open wings. But how are we gonna ask for open wings when they wouldn't even give us his swords? Or, you know, there's just so many missed opportunities with this figure. But I'm sure to them it wasn't missed opportunities. It was done strategically for profit or for whatever reasons. So maybe they could have gave us open wings, but you know, we would have had to buy a third Hawks that was the same exact figure, and maybe that would have been like the silver label or something like that. But I really like these wings on this figure. I wouldn't recommend going out and buying that figure just to get these wings, because at that point you're approaching now 70-80 bucks when Amazing Yamaguchi is going to be dropping a Hawks figure for around $100. I would just say go with the Amazing Yamaguchi. But if you don't want to, if you are Mcfarlane or die, then yeah, sure, put these wings on the figure. It'll work pretty good. I painted them Tamiya red paint, hobby paint. I like it a lot. I love the way this figure looks with the proper wings on it and the swords. It looks amazing. So for me personally, just my opinion, a complete Hawks figure would have had open wings, an actual flight stand, and the swords. And then maybe for the gold label, it could have literally just been the battle version of Hawks. If you're gonna keep the same exact figure, throw some paint apps on it, make it look battle damaged. He has smaller wings, and make his swords damaged, and everything would have been fine. But that's just my opinion. But with these wings open and with the sword, this looks like a way more expensive figure than $19.99. So if you had to pick one, I would go with the gold label. Here are some height comparisons with this Mcfarlane figure compared to some other Mcfarlane figures. So we all know at this point, whether it's the DC Multiverse or My Hero, it don't matter. Mcfarlane's scaling is usually off. So Hawk size is good. I wish Endeavor was a little bit bigger, but at least there is a considerable height difference between these two because Hawks is a smaller guy. So I like this. Don't have any issues with it. Definitely this will hold me down until I get my hands on the Amazing Yamaguchi versions of both these characters. And right here we have some more Mcfarlane My Hero Academia figures. Just threw in two more. And the All Might, I did swap the head on an All Might to a statue head because that Mcfarlane head was way too tiny. So I like the scale here. I like the way that it looks, even though once again I wish Endeavor was bigger. But overall this is going to hold me down until later or future releases or better figures come in the future. For $19.99, I really don't have a lot of complaints here. Remember, my biggest complaints is the false advertising. They showed wings or they showed accessories that we did not receive. It should have definitely had a flight stand, and I wish they did offer open wings. But if I had to get one, I'll say it again, my affiliate link for the gold label version is in the description below. If I had to get one, that's the one that I would pick up for $19.99. On top of the fact that's probably going to be the one that the price will increase on in the future because it comes with both his feather swords. So if I had to get one, I would get that one. And for $19.99, I think this base body is really good. I think the detail in the wings and a lot of things are good about this figure. But that's what kills me about Mcfarlane, because I feel like there's so much potential here, especially with the price point, especially with sculpting. But usually when you see a person that's showing a really good Mcfarlane figure, they always have to make changes to it. But this figure, the gold label version, without making any changes to it, I'm still pretty happy with the smaller wings and both swords. So this figure stands out to me compared to other ones. I just wish it came with a flight stand. Overall, I do think Mcfarlane is slowly improving, whether it's DC, My Hero Academia, or whatever line he has the license to make toys to. I do see an improvement over time. I hope he just keeps improving. But I like this figure a lot. For me, this is the best Mcfarlane MHA release so far. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know how you feel about Mcfarlane. Do you feel like he's improving over time? Do you see any value in his figure, or you're going to say no, you're going to pass because of the wing situation or the accessory situation? I see value in just a gold label one. I don't really see a lot of value in a standard release, but it's just my preference. Let me know how you guys feel about this figure and what do you think. Appreciate you guys. Like I always say, life is short. Try to appreciate it more than you complain about it. Peace.
G.I. Joe, classified, Marvel Legends on my mind, Valaverse and NECA time, Mythic Legions I must find, SH Figure Arts I can't lie, Rebel Tech got my pockets dry, Set Action Figures for life, Articulated Ninja is nice, yeah, you might wanna subscribe, Action